Inside this box is a 58-year-old camera from 1965. A few weeks ago, my neighbor and I were talking about my upcoming video schedule, and he decided to give me this camera from 1965, which has been sitting in his garage for the past 40 years. And I had no idea about this until that. So, it is called the Anscomatic ST84 Super 8 movie camera made by GAF or GAF or whatever it's called. It's a Japanese company according to this box, and this camera is super old, as you can just see from the box. So this box is like completely just like falling apart. So this right here is actually a box of film. Inside this box is 50 feet of film, which AKA is 4 minutes of just movie. Could you imagine just having just 50 feet in front of you? That's like the size of this room, probably even more, like diagonally. Having this amount of film only for 3 to 4 minutes of just your picture, that's horrible. Like, I wouldn't ever want to do that, jeez. And then the amount of work just to cut it and the equipment you gotta use, it's crazy. This right here, these two things are talking about the projector. He has the projector in his garage, but I didn't really bother taking it because I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna make a video, like a movie with this, with film. So the whole purpose of this is to see if I can actually make a YouTube video with it. So we're gonna be figuring that out in the future, and hopefully I'll be able to by the end of the summer. That was his goal, that's his challenge that he gave me. I gotta start accepting more challenges, you know what I'm saying? So this is called the Argus Auto Threading Showmaster. This is like the projector that came with it. It's the model 878B and 878Z. I've never heard something have two different model names, but just be one model. That's interesting. This is the actual camera manual. Inside, it tells you everything you need to know about the camera, including exposing film. So there's many different batteries that you would have had to use with this. So an example, the main batteries are just to like use the actual film, and then there's another battery called the exposure battery, which was completely corroded, was made of mercury. They don't make batteries out of that anymore, and that's crazy. This in here, I thought this was like an extra zoom lens or something to this camera, but it turns out to be the projector's lens. So I don't know why that's in the camera box. This is a little like wrist thing that you could wear the camera, or like just hold it, you know, just in case like, you know, it's gonna fall or something. And then the moment you've all been waiting for, the camera itself. Now this thing is gonna fall off. It just says GAF Anscomatic, and there it goes. You see the glue on the back of this thing? This thing is so old. The glue is like completely like brown and stuff. This, my friends, is the 1965 Super 8 Anscomatic GAF camera. So the camera itself, it has a lens. Well, here's the lens cap. It has a lens. It can go from wide to tele lens. Then the exposure control. Basically, if your movie was exposed with the film, you couldn't use it at all. So that's why they had the battery just for the exposure, because you had to use it separately. So it tells me how many feet of film I have left. In this case, 50 feet. It says it on the thing. There's no film actually in the compartment though. So if there's like this button back here, it says open. So I'm gonna open that, and boom, it's where you put the film in. It's like a door, it's like it opens. But what this is back here, this is a like little view-finding hole to just see what's like going on inside the lens. So if I put my eye up to it, I can clearly see what's happening. It really does look like a 1965 film as soon as you put your eye in. Like, it really looks like I'm watching something made in the 60s. It's like the colors are just different, like the color contrast. Nowadays, cameras are able to pick up colors really well as long as you have good lighting. Like this green, to my eyes, looks very, very similar, if not identical to the green that you are seeing currently. Or this red looks identical to what you guys are seeing. This, however, has like the vintage tint to it almost. Like if I was outside, I did this a few times, it'd be sunny out, right? I'll take the camera that I'm using is seeing the same colors as I am, like one of these newer cameras. But when I put this up, it almost gave a vintage-like tint. It's almost like I put a filter over the actual lens. However, that's the way the lenses were actually made and absorb the color, which is really interesting. The other cool thing is, to zoom in, you have to like move it out. You have to move the lens outwards to zoom in, which is the complete opposite of how it is today. Like when you zoom in, the lens goes like outwards. So it's interesting because like the lens, it's just different the way they're made, which is pretty cool. So the thing that's a little confusing is this camera has so many like different little compartments that you wouldn't even like know. So there's this thing on the bottom that says lock. And I'm saying to myself, what could this possibly do? It pretty much locks the way you can like film, because if you were trying to film, you know, you'd have to hold this little button down. It's on this grip thing, you know, and you'd hold it down, and then if you locked it, you can't do anything. But then when you unlock it, it moves a little bit. Now back here, you won't even be able to tell, but this is black tape that I had to put on the back. There used to be this whole big thing of rubber. But what happened was when I first opened up the camera, because it's, you know, 58 years old and it's been sitting in a hot garage for 45 years or so, I put it up to my face and the rubber was melted. So I had all like black stuff all on my face. It was melted rubber. What I am trying to do for a future video is to use this camera as one of my videos. You know how I've been doing the series, I made this camera with a 23-year-old camera, or I made this video with a $30 webcam. I'm trying to continue that series, and I want to do, I made this video with a 58-year-old camera, or a camera from 1965. It's the same thing. I really want to try and do that, except I don't know how exactly I'm going to do it. I'm definitely not going to be using film. There's so many rules with it, and there's so much, I don't have the equipment, the proper equipment to actually use it. Plus, I've never cut film in my life. I don't know if you can use an actual scissor, and I have no experience with it. So what I'm gonna end up trying to do is to put a camera somehow attached to the back of this to try and see what I see when I'm trying to go around and film. It's gonna be difficult. I'm gonna try it. Hopefully it'll work. And you guys will see that video if it does, and if you don't, it probably didn't work. I'll try though, I promise. Right here is a battery compartment. If you take this thing out, there's a battery compartment with actual like Duracell batteries that you can put in. That's what they use to like actually film it. So like when you were actually going to film, it would use the batteries to film it. It even has a tripod holder on the bottom. I could hook this on to the tripod that the camera is currently on right now. It's really, really cool. So all in all, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed me unboxing this camera from 1965. If you want to see more videos about this camera in the future, or if you want to try and see me use this in a video, be sure to leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like and
subscribe.
And I will see you guys next time.